Hello, Steve Fletcher here, and welcome to the Everything Guide to Learning to Play Guitar. Before we get started, can I ask you please to like this video, subscribe to my YouTube page, and really help me grow my business. Also, if you've got time, head over to FletcherSteve.com, where you'll find a multitude of resources constantly being updated to assist you with your day-to-day guitar playing needs. Right, let's take a look at your first three chords. It's getting very exciting. Now, hopefully you've wrapped your head around the string, fret, and finger numbers. And as I've said before, armed with those three relatively simple bits of information, you should have no problem tackling anything that I now send at you. All right. If you're still a little bit unsure about which string is which fret, which finger is which, then head back to that first video in this section just to give yourself a good refresher. And also head over to my website at FletcherSteve.com to download the accompanying sheets, which will really help you out. So what you've got now on the accompanying sheet to this lesson is you've got that drawing of the guitar again. In fact, you've got three of them to learn because you've got three chords to learn. That drawing is now called a chord box. So anytime you see that, it is a chord box. We have got the A chord, the D chord, and the E chord to have a look at. All right. Those chords are shown in three different ways. Each of the three chords is shown in three different ways. They're shown written as the chord box. They're shown a photograph of what it will look like from your point of view looking at the guitar. All right. And they're shown as a point of view from what the audience will see. So all of those things together will help you out. So first of all, we're going to take a look at the A chord. And in order to do this, I'm going to bring things a little bit closer so that you can see how it will look from your point of view. Right, so you should have your guitar on your knee looking something like this. Give your guitar a little bit of a lean on your knee there so that you can see everything facing you. So just to recap again, we've got those 6 strings. We've got string 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Right, that. We've got fret number 1, fret number 2, and fret number 3. We've got finger number 1, finger number 2, finger number 3, and finger number 4. So what we're going to do first on the A chord, if you take a look at that sheet, you should be able to see that finger number 1 is positioned on string 4, fret 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to put finger number 1 on string 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and move it to fret 2, just like that. Now what I've done here is I've put finger number 1 in the middle of that fret. And actually I don't want you to do that because if you take a quick glance at that A chord, you'll see that all your fingers are in fact in fret number 2. So what I want you to do is just move it back a little bit like so to give yourself plenty of room in that fret. What we're going to do next is we're going to add finger number 2. Finger number 2, if you look at that sheet, goes on string number 3, fret number 2. Now, this is where it gets a little bit fiddly because what I want you to try and do is add that finger without moving finger 1 because finger 1 is right and we don't want to move it if we can help it. Okay? So we're going to add finger 2. If I can speak, we're going to add finger 2 to string 3, fret 2. So 1, 2, 3. And again, we're going to give it a little bit of a shuffle just to give ourselves plenty of room. Because finger number 3 is going to go on string 2, fret 2. So 1, 2, like so. So you should have something. Take a good look. You should have something that looks like this. There it is. That is the A chord. Your A chord is going to sound like this. Now, you have to do sometimes to get those fingers to stay or to fit. You have to sometimes do what I call the dance of the hand. So sometimes, if your hand is over at a strange angle, it's hard to get those fingers in. So sometimes you might just have to just give your hand a little bit of a movement to just get those fingers where they need to be. Okay? So just experiment trying to get those hands in the right place. So the next one that we're going to do is the D chord. Now, hopefully you can see on that sheet that on the D chord, finger number 1 is on string 3, fret 2. So fret 2 is there. Count up the strings. 1, 2, 3, and there we go. And again, dance of the hand. Just give yourself a bit of room. Come back a little bit. There we go. Finger number 2 is going to go on string 1. So a bit of a gap there. And still fret 2. So finger 2, string 1, fret 2. There we go. And again, if your hand is like so, you might struggle to get that finger in there. So just give it the dance of the hand, bit of an angle, and it should go. Now this is where things get a little bit interesting because what we've got now is finger 3. Finger 3 is on string 2, fret 3. And this is the first time that you've had a finger in a different fret to your other fingers. So when you do that, finger 3 on string 2, 1, 2, fret 3, make sure that those fingers are on their correct frets. But you should have something that looks like that. Your D chord is going to sound like this. And finally, we're going to take a look at the E chord. So the E chord, we've got finger number 1 on string 3 of fret 1. So 1, 2, 3. Finger number 2, we've got on string 5, bit of a jump, fret 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And finger number 3, we've got on string 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, fret 2. So again, with the E chord, you should have something that looks like that. Your E chord is going to sound like this. What I did just then for every one of those chords, just to help you out, is I counted my way up the strings. All right, we're not going to do that again. What you should be able to do when you put your fingers in the right place is just go there. All right, so finger 1, string 4, bang, there it is. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4, there it is. Because when you're putting these chords into a song, you just don't have the time. So you do need to get yourself to a nice stage where you are able to play each one of those chords and go to it straight away. So A and D and E. Now, the thing that I need to draw to your attention, if you take a look at those chords, you'll see on the A chord and the D chord, there's some little X's right at the bottom of those strings. On the A chord, there's a little X on string 6 right at the bottom. On the D chord, there's a little X on string 6 and on string 5. But on the E chord, no little X's at all. Now, what's that all about? They are the notes, or they are the strings, I should say, that you don't play when you're playing the chord. So on an A chord, you don't play string 6, you start your strum from string 5. On your D chord, you don't play 6, you don't play 5, you start your strum from string 4. Your E chord, you are free as a bird to play all 6 of those strings. Now you'll see these little X's across a lot of your chords that you're going to do. You have to keep your eye out for them. I'm not going to highlight them every single time. Just be aware that they are there, and that's what they are for, to tell you which strings you don't play. All right. As you go through it, as you go through these sheets, and we start doing more strums, I don't want you to worry too much about that. Now, this might seem like guitar player's blasphemy, what I'm about to tell you, but I don't want you to worry too much about it, all right? As long as you're aware of it, that's fine. You know, on an A, if someone says to you, play me an A, you would go like that. But when you're strumming your chords, when you're playing a song, I'm not going to lie, you're going to hit that string, that 6th string, accidentally. And I guarantee you, the world will not end, all right? Just be aware of it. Try and lean your strumming away from those strings that you shouldn't play. But don't get your knickers in a twist about it, all right? It's something you should be aware of. Try not to hit them on purpose. Just, bear it in mind. So now that you've got your first 3 chords in your brain, take a little bit of time to really let them sink in, okay? Have a go at them. Sit there practicing that A and that D and that E. And eventually you'll be ready to head over to our next video, which is how to change from one chord to the next.